Hello, this is Nancy from Paper Moon Tarot. How you doing, guys? So I wanted to do a VR to Musings by Mascha about 2020 decks that I've liked in different categories that she provided. So we're going to start with collage decks. And the collage deck I liked in 2020, and some of these are ones that I got in 2020 that came out before. Some of them came out in 2020. So this one probably came out before 2020. It's the Darkness of Light Tarot. I'm referring to my notes so I don't forget the right title. All the titles and all the creators of the decks will be listed below at the end of the video. So Darkness of Light has kind of an interesting arty palette. It's definitely a collage style deck. Darkness of Light, it's kind of dark sometimes, but it does have splashes of color. The pink in this. It reads very traditionally to Rider-Waite for me. You know, like the Ten of Wands, totally burdened. And so I think it's a really neat collage style deck. And I recommend it. Now you'll find the titles are in Italian up here, so The Fool, for example. So that's the Darkness of Light, which was one of my favorite collage style decks. I have several others, but you know, Mascha wanted us to pick one in each category, so that was the one I got. The next one is pocket-sized tarot, and for that, I chose the Raincoast Tarot. I got the travel-sized edition. And it's a very unusual deck. The art just makes you study it, you know, you really have to look at it carefully. And it's a reasonably modern deck. Oh, this is actually one of the art cards that comes with the deck. But that's a pretty interesting High Priestess, for example. And so for something to whip out when we can all go to coffee shops again and play with our tarot deck and have people walk up and go, what the hell is that? I think it's a real interesting one to carry around. And so much going on in each card. But again, it's very readable to the meanings of the cards, the tarot meanings. And the colors are just wonderful, just a lot of fun. In fact, I looked recently, and the only size of this deck that I could find was the pocket edition. So this is the one you'll be able to find. Look at the colors in that. It's so fun. So that is the Raincoast Tarot, and that's my favorite pocket-sized tarot deck. I'm going to stack these over here and hope they don't all tumble to the ground when I get like 10 of them. Okay, Beauty, deck for Beauty. Now, gosh, there's so many options. But one that I got this year that I think is the second edition that came out this year is the Orion's Tarot. It could have also been a nature-based tarot deck, because it is very much nature-based. But I just find, in terms of beauty, this one's really gorgeous. Very autumnal colors. I love the font on this. I have to say that. It's so clear and clean, and sans serif font. Just easy to read, which I appreciate. The cardstock is lovely on this, with the black core. Look at the lovers, the seahorses. They're so pretty. Six of Cups. I just find the artistic aesthetic here that's really beautiful. I love staring at these in a spread. They're just beautiful. Look at that Emperor. And I don't know, you know, hopefully they read well on the screen. I think they're a little dark in a video, but in person they just glow. They really glow. I mean, look at that Wheel of Fortune. So anyway, the Orion's Tarot is one that I think is just beautiful and very different from most decks. Not your flowy, medieval, costumey, beautiful, but really pretty art. So that's the Orion's. And that was my beautiful deck. A nature-based deck. Well, this one was a little tricky. I could have chose Orion's because it's very nature-based. The Brady Tarot is absolutely gorgeous art, woodcuts. But don't ask me why, but I chose the Rabbit Tarot. It's just fun. It's sweet. It's pretty little artwork, pretty watercolors. You know, you gotta like rabbits. But why would you buy a deck called the Rabbit Tarot if you didn't like rabbits? The card backs are kind of pretty. Black and white rabbits. But it's just, it's fun. The art is sweet. When you get this deck from the independent deck producer, you'll get little tiny pieces of art that she created in with the deck. It's so sweet. So that is my nature-based deck, the Rabbit Tarot. Look at the colors there. I just love the watercolor of the hills and so on. And I'll show one last little guy. So that is my nature deck, and that's the Rabbit Tarot. Okay, moving on, we had a whimsical deck, a deck full of whimsy. Well, I got this just at the last minute in 2020, so I'm going to go for it. It's the Tarot of Mystical Moments, and I had gotten the Oracle of Mystical Moments a few months earlier, and found out this tarot was coming out, so I pre-ordered it, finally got it. I just think, to me, that's whimsical, that the guy's standing on the deer's antlers, or the elk's antlers, I'm not sure. It's beautiful, but look at that Knight of Pentacles on the horse that's made of leaves. It gives me a lighthearted feeling to look at these. I don't know if you can hear my cat outside wanting to get in. I'll let him in soon, I promise. He's not suffering. Ten of Pentacles. So to me, there's a lot of whimsy, sort of almost surrealistic artwork that to me means whimsical. It's creative, imaginative. I love it. And the colors in this deck are wonderful. It's come out from US Games, and so the cardstock is great US Games cardstock. I really enjoy it. You know, nice box. They've gotten really great on their production quality, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so the next category is Marseille. And this is one, if you watched my holiday haul video, the gifts I got. This is one my husband gave me for Christmas, and it is, as far as I can tell, out of print at this point, but it is Le Tarot Noir. And I just got it from the creators in France, I guess. I got it from Amazon France. Can't get it anymore. They'll probably come out with a new version, but I just love the clean lines. The colors are so pretty. The sort of teal and burgundy and browns are a really pretty color palette. Nice, you know, artistic flourishes, but not gaudy, you know, simple, clean, Marseille style deck. Backs are very pretty. Cardstock is nice. Some swords. But what beautiful colors and lines, and just the faces are kind of funny. They're kind of interesting. But to me, just getting used to Marseille style, it's a very straightforward deck to read. It's clear and clean, bright. The cards are big, so if shuffling is a concern for you and you have small hands, it might be tricky. But I love this deck. Now, I have to give honorable mention, though, to, sorry, my decks are spread out across this table. I have to reach. To the Tarot de Ozarks, which I love. Totally different style of art. But it's a Marseille deck that really pulled me into Marseille decks, because I love the art. It's got so much energy. And a obviously totally different palette than the Tarot Noir. But I like the variety of colors in this one. So that's my little honorable mention for Marseille. It's one of my favorite decks. Couldn't leave it out. Okay, Le Tarot Noir and Tarot de Ozarks are the Marseille decks. Then there's a category, hobby / culture. And that one was a little tricky for me because I guess I wasn't super sure what it meant. I guess it could have been if you had a deck that was entirely African or Netherlands or something like that, as far as culture. But I chose one that I think of this as being a culture, as being a world that most of us don't live in. And that's the Carnival at the End of the World Tarot. And I would think a carnival culture, carnival world is unique from ours. And I love the deck. It's a really neat deck. Another one that makes you sort of think. It's kind of whimsical as well. But it is one of my favorites. And I'm going to say it fits a culture, a carnival culture. I can't explain every card. I kind of like decks where that's the case. There's our Fool. It's like a peddler selling toys at the carnival, I guess. And he has a monkey. Why not? There's I guess a bear juggling pentacles and standing on a pentacle. So that's the culture. Again, I'm going to get the hobby culture category. And I just considered that carnivals were a culture unto themselves. That's the Carnival at the End of the World Tarot. Just slippery. I'm trying to hold on to it. Okay, the next one is stories or myths. And for that, I chose another Christmas present from my wonderful husband, the Mythical Creatures Tarot from Baba Studios. Beautiful deck. The gorgeous cardstock, the gorgeous backs on them. I don't know that these are creatures from myths that you or I would know, but they are mythical creatures, so I figured they fit. Isn't she gorgeous? She's a tree. Why not? Some sort of centaur type creature. A little gnome. So it's almost fairy-like. But just a beautiful deck. The borders, I love the borders. There's so much going on up here, and it changes from card to card. It's not a static border. From suit to suit, they're different. And from, I'm just trying to find something that's not pips. I'm not having luck. Well, it's a pip, but with a little more going on in the art. But it's a very beautiful deck, and as I said, the borders up here do different things with different suits, with the majors. And I don't, in all cases, know what myth or story is coming across here, but it's very mythical and story-like, so I love this deck. It's the Mythical Creatures Tarot from Baba Studios. Organized. Back in your box. Okay, deck production. And this is tricky because I love the deck production. I think this is like holding a little museum in your hands. But I also love the art. I don't want to underplay the art. It could be a favorite collage deck, a favorite art deck. It just happened to fall into this category because I think the Dust to Onyx is just so beautifully done. The box is very unusual. This is the travel size edition. Very, well done box. It slides off the top. Slides out beautifully. I mean, there are some that come in these boxes and it's impossible to get them out. But it comes out very, very easily. The book is very simple. There's nothing particular about the book, but I see these big box decks that the book gets most of the money and the deck is cheap and flimsy, and I'm in it for the cards. So for the cards, the card stock on this is amazing. It's just beautiful rose petal. Card backs are beautiful. And the artwork, oh my God, it is so beautiful and has this little gold gilding. I think if you get the full size, you also get some effect on it, on the cards themselves. But here you can see the sparkle on the name and the banner. I love the size actually of the travel size deck too. But look at that. The cards are beautiful quality, beautiful art. Nice, compact, wonderful box, well made. If I had to tell someone, look at a tarot deck for the production quality, for it being just perfectly done, this would be it. But as I say, I don't want to undervalue the art, because this deck is one of the most beautiful art decks I have. take it out and look at it all the time, I'm not as confident about reading with it yet, because I just get lost in the art. I'm like, oh, that's a tarot card. Oh, what's the meaning there? It doesn't jump out at me immediately because it's a very artistic vision. And with some study, I'm like, oh, okay, I get how that's, whatever card it is. But I just get lost in the art. So that's the Dust to Onyx. And I think that deck has just beautiful production quality, beautiful art. So that's that category. Okay, modern deck. I don't have a lot of modern decks. I have the Next World Tarot. I don't know. I had to think about this a lot to try and figure out, what do I have? If we're really talking modern life sort of decks, I got the, I can't remember the name, the Everyday something, I didn't click with it. But anyway, the deck I chose, cut a long story short, is the Urban Tarot. I like it. It's another US Games deck, so it's good cardstock quality. They're rather large cards, tall cards. I love the backs, like a subway system map. And it's based on culture in New York City, so that makes sense. And I'm holding that upside down. Or am I? God, I really should wear glasses when I do this, shouldn't I? Kind of Thoth-like. It has keywords. There's a theater director or producer. I'm doing it again, aren't I? Is it Temperance? Upside down? It's hard. It's upside down and backwards on the screen. But anyway, there's a television screen that person is looking at. There, I got that one right. And that's, I assume, is it the New York Library or the Metropolitan Museum of Art has the big lions? I used to live not far from there, so I should know, right? That Ace of Wands with the Statue of Liberty. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck, the Star. She's just stepping out of the gutter, reaching for something higher, something better. So that's the Urban Tarot, very nice cardstock quality, US Games. Very contemporary. And one I'd recommend, non-expensive deck. I'm going to end on that one. It's a sad one. Oh, and there we are with the tower. So the Twin Towers. One more. There you go, the World card. Stepping up, that's the world in an urban setting in the city. So it's what surprised me. I looked at it early on and thought, oh, it's a mass market deck. It's not that interesting. I was going more for the pretty medieval looking decks early on. And I thought it would be too modern for me, but it's not. I like it a lot. Okay, art deck. This one, it was going to be the Lonely Dreamer, because I love the Lonely Dreamer, but I've mentioned that in a few other videos, and I thought, well, just for variety's sake, I had just gotten the Painted Tarot, and it comes in a nice solid tuck box. Better quality than a lot of them. When I first flipped through it, I thought, well, it's all faces. I don't know, and only the kings are black and white. The use of color in this is amazing. But I thought on first flip through, well, there's a face, there's a moon in the moon card and that kind of thing. There's a person on a horse charging as a knight. But I kind of thought, is it going to have enough depth for me? But what I found was, you lay these cards out together, there is such energy in them. Such vibrancy in the colors that, you put 2 or 3 of them together, oh my gosh. Yes, their faces staring at you, but each card carries with it a certain energy, and the color palette is just beautiful. So the painted tarot is one that I've really gotten to like in a very short time. And I think it's a very intuitive deck. But when I get 3 of these cards sort of staring straight out at me, I feel challenged by the deck. And as you get into it, there is a lot to read in each card. They aren't all the same by any means. But just beautiful art. Fun art. Okay. So we're almost there, guys. We almost did it. One last deck. I know Mascha included several other categories, and I skipped over some of them as she encouraged us to do as we wished, because I just didn't really have anything that fit the mold very well. But the last category I chose was Deck of the Year. And that's got to be, it's not one that came out this year. I was toyed with making it my vintage deck, but it's not really a vintage deck. It's not, from the 15th century. I can't talk. It's a more recently created deck, but it has a very vintage feel. But I didn't think that was authentic, so I didn't put it under vintage tarot, but I did make it my deck of the year. I just love this. It's beautiful art, just wonderful, folksy, well done art with beautiful colors. I love the size. It fits so well in my small, tiny hands. And just envelop it. It feels so good. Pretty backs. Now it is an art paper, so it's from Il Meneghello, and I hesitate to use it too aggressively. I don't want to damage it, but I pull it out and look at it and love the color palette again. Nice autumn type colors. So really, this is a deck I got at Christmas time, and it is so beautiful. I just took it out and kind of gasped as I looked through it, because I was having trouble finding it. And then my wonderful husband found it, because it kind of goes in and out of print. You can find it, but it goes into printings with 2,000 decks at a time or something. So that Corte de Tarocchi from Il Meneghello is probably my deck of the year. So there you are. So thank you, Mascha, for your wonderful challenge, and this VR to Musings by Mascha will, as I said, have all the listings down below of the decks, links to get them if they're available, and the creators' names. And thank you to everybody for coming by. Take care.